Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round two of the European Formula Esports Series. My name is KJ, and we are in for a wonderful treat on this Tuesday night around the iconic track of Melbourne. It's usually the first round, but it's round two this time around, and the drivers will have 29 laps around the battery rinsing track of Melbourne to get ready for action. And I'm not alone in the commentary booth this evening because I'm joined by RTM English. How are you, English, tonight? Oh, force of habit. Audio is now included. Sorry about that, guys. English should
There
be
we
here
go.
now.
There we go. I am alive.
So, 18 minutes of qualifying here in Australia, and I'm sure I have done a few laps of this track myself, and it is very interesting in how the drivers should do their laps. You've got to really manage where you use your battery, and that's not factoring in the fact of straight mode. So, what should the drivers expect as they start to head out on track, English, do you think?
I mean, obviously, quali is obviously quite self-explanatory. Obviously, you still got to do the lift and go stuff, battery and all that stuff, just to make sure you have enough to last for the entirety of the lap, because by the time you get to the end of Sector 2, you'll pretty much run dry. I mean, as you stated with the battery and the race, though, it will be interesting. It will be very interesting, because especially on that long back straight of Sector 2, it will be a game of who has the most battery. Definitely going into the fast chicane.
Yeah, so just to remind you of how the opening round fared, it was TCN who got off to a winning start in Japan, closely followed by AMS and TRE. But we are in the early stages of this title, but obviously teams will just want that promising start just to see where they line up. And Australia is a very good chance to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a few outsiders propel themselves up the field, because it's all going to be about battery management today, because there's very little corners where you can really charge that battery here.
Yeah, especially with corners being either high speed or medium speed corners. You only really get a couple of low speed corners in Sector 1 and Sector 3. But other than that, it's pretty much flat out.
Yeah, so the first few laps now, the AMS of Chrisu will be the Ferrari. In English, would you do the pleasure of taking us through a lap of this 5.6 kilometre track?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, we see Chrisu is going to start a flying lap. So you do see people often opt for 2 out laps, but here you see with the burning of the boost button, he is pushing on through Sector 1, so obviously into turn 3 now would be. We'll get the car turned in and prioritise exit for the rest of this sector. Looks like he's done that quite nicely. We're going to get the first lot of straight mode, or the second lot of straight mode technically activated. And onto the back straight, which is the entirety of Sector 2 pretty much. The straight mode activate once more. He's going to still burn a lot of boost, but he's still got quite a bit left over. So not burning as much in Sector 1 as what we probably expect them to. But he's playing it very smart, making sure he gets the time down in the final sector as well. So you can see we are coming through the final sector. He's got a couple of right-handers to navigate. Nell's the first one. And then this one is pretty much flat out, if not is flat out, before we go into the left-hander of the penultimate corner. See the Ferrari driver of the AMS lot of Chrisu. Coming out the final corner, it will be battery to the line, straight mode to the line, and the banker will be a 17.128.
Not a bad banker, if I do say so myself, riding on board with the AMS, but a flurry of cars crossing line behind him. Mouth goes P2, the 17.6. His teammate just crossed the line, but he either invalidated or did a second outlap. Steve in the MGA, not too far behind Chrissy when his teammate joins him in second, closely followed by the Cadillac of Alex MG. Ted Head in the TDR goes to P4, and so far the top 4 separated by a tenth. Don't be surprised if you do see quite a few fine margins. It isn't the longest of circuits. As Tsunami goes to P3, also at 17.1. Boots then puts himself P1 in the UFRT with a 17.0. But as we look down the field, very fine margins, I must say. 10.5 all the way down to P6, maybe top 7.
As I said earlier, obviously, as we were watching Chris, Andy's just gone 16.7. That's a mega banker there. But the 2 outlaps, Oh, that's a recent track I've just witnessed.
I think that was Spa Tsunami.
I'm not too sure, but the two hatters of the next level generation, they're going for 2 out laps, and obviously both of them will be on their flying laps now. So you've got Jubilee and we've got Shorshi of that. I have no idea how to say that name, but we'll run with it. So it's interesting to see the 2 out laps. Nobody has gone for it yet, except from these 2 drivers. And is that gonna give them a bit of the edge? Well, Julian got it to P12, so there's not much of an edge even with the lower fuel.
See if it works any better for Scorchy as he comes through final sector. But I was going to say, apart from Andy, it is incredibly close. 2nd to 9th, separated by a 10th and a half. TRS seeming to have the edge so far. We'll see if his teammate Ricky can join him. But Scorchy also with the 2nd out lap, as you mentioned, up to the line. He doesn't fare too much better over 17.3. So whether that is to do with a 2nd out lap or just poor laps from the Hasses, we'll find out later. Those are your opening runs. So far, Andy clear of the rest, but behind it's all playful.
Yeah, absolutely. We've still got a couple of laps for people still yet to finish. So we've got Ricky, who is going to be finished off the lap. That's another TRS driver. And that is a 17.0. Obviously, Rian went up to P2. That's a 16.9 for Rian. So closed that gap slightly to Andy, but obviously Andy's still got a comfortable margin.
Yeah, so every driver, or all 20 drivers, have a lap, apart from the Audi of Teme and Killing the Red Bull, who hasn't gone out strangely yet.
Yeah, I believe Kill might have possibly invalidated his first run. And obviously, when you've committed to doing a first run, not 2 out laps, the tyres are kind of shot. So probably a smart thing to end up boxing, because obviously you're not going to gain time with more tyres.
Yeah, I was going to mention that track limits are usually a huge pain here at Australia. It's very easy to go wide and get a warning, but I don't know if because of these new F126 cars, the cars are a lot less prone to going off track because you're coming into a corner a lot slower thanks to the harvesting. So maybe expect a few less track limit warnings in the race, but I'm sure Australia will still catch quite a few drivers out, especially in qualifying.
I mean, obviously it will be one thing just to see how it goes, really. Obviously we can't really determine on what's going to happen in the race because we've still got 29 laps to go through. So, but based on laps that I have done, it is very easy to cut turn 1. You miss your braking point ever so slightly, turning slightly too early, and you're cutting turn 1. That's a warning there. You do it 3 consecutive laps, and you get a 3-second time penalty. It's easy as that to pick up warnings, easy as that to pick up time penalties. So it will be how the drivers manage it over the course of 29 laps to ensure that they are minimising mistakes.
Yeah, turn 1, turn 2, and probably the exit of turn 6 are probably the biggest concern for the drivers. Whether they've gained time from that or not, the game will punish you, as the second lot of laps are coming out, everyone piling out the pits at the same time. Temi, the only one who went out late, also invalidated that lap, so whether he'll go again, I think he'll come back into the pits now. But we are about to get the second runs underway, and we'll see if that time from the TRS of Andy will stand.
I'm trying to find who's on that lap, but I believe there is one driver who's just started his lap coming out of turn 1, which is the Bard Tsunami. And he is pushing because he's burning all of that battery.
Yeah, the Bard Tsunami, the first of these second runs, I think. And I'll try not to be biased, but TDR is my team, but wouldn't mind seeing them drivers do quite well.
It's fine because I'm looking at the UFRT lot and just silently celebrating over here.
Doing better than we are right now. Well, let's see if they can change that 9 and 11 grid spot right now. As a Bard Tsunami just a temp improvement, we'll see him jump up to P3. So as he comes through the middle sector, we'll see how much he's up by. And it is a temp. So again, interesting to see where he manages his battery burning it on the exit of turn 9 and heading down towards the heaviest braking zone on the track. Shucks it in nicely. Through the final sector, I'm sure there's a lot of drivers behind improving, but we'll see if the TDRs could, as there's an RB fully stopped there to get out of the way of the Williams, and it's one way of getting out of the way for blue flags, but Bartinami around the final corner, the first of the second runs to be completed, and he will put his TDR only up one position, up to P8 he goes.
Yeah, so I think he's burnt too much in the first 2 sectors because he only ended up improving by about 200ths by the end of the lap after being just over a 10th up. But it's all about how you manage your battery for the entirety of the lap.
Yeah, many different drivers using it in different places. Steve Burfin went to P2 in the MGA with 16.8, and the other TDR, Ted Head, with 16.9 in P4. Flurry of drivers still on their lap, so expect some improvements over the next few seconds.
Yeah, I was just currently on board with Jocelyn from the MGA team. He was about a 10th and a half up through the first 2 sectors. Obviously, he's got to make sure he's got a battery, but it looks like he does. And he's going to come across the line, and it will be a 16.7, so that's putting him right up there with Andy. And that's both MGA drivers that are up in the top 3 now.
Yeah, so I'm just keeping an eye on the Hasses as well, not opting for that 2 out laps like before. We'll see if just a single one helps them bump themselves up the field, and it's helped Scorchy because he goes to P6 with a 16.9. Still, that time from Andy is holding firm, only by 16 milliseconds, albeit. But Andy is about to set his second lap, so we'll see if he can improve. Ryan Spencer invalidated his lap, so his second run has come to an end. And we'll see if his teammate, Ricky, in the other TRS, can get up near his teammate as he comes around the final corner. So Ricky up to the line, and he does go faster to P4. So MG8 and TRS are the 2 setting the pace currently. Just 1/10 between the 4. And unless the UFRTs could get involved, this seems like the scrap of the weekend so far.
Very, very close to the TRS driver, Andy. Only 3 thousandths of a second behind now, and that top 3 is looking tasty.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, if UFRT can get involved, on cue, Boots went to P2. So a 3-way fight up top, and 15 thousandths of a second separate the top 3 indeed. That is looking incredibly close as the second runs come to an end. And just one set of runs left, you feel, unless Andy can put himself a little further ahead, because he's coming into the final 2 corners now. It's nice and tidy for the TRS. So Andy up to the line. Can he extend his advantage up front? Yes, he can, and it's by another 3 tenths. So
wow.
Just when everyone else thought they could get close, Andy reinstates his 3-tenth advantage, and that's going to take some beating as we head into the final 5 minutes.
Oh, no, absolutely. That is a mega lap. I don't think I've seen a lap as fast as what I've just seen from Andy and in any place that I've watched or been a part of anything. I've never seen quicker than a 0.4.
0.4 around Melbourne.
That is mental.
That is extremely impressive, and not even on his 3rd lap, Andy. So Andy will come in with the hope of beating that as well. A few drivers still out on track, a bit out of sync from the rest. Mouth in the RB also retired for a reason I'm unsure of, whether he made contact with the barriers.
Yeah,
but
I believe
behind Andy.
I believe he did crash. He put into the chat, the Twitch chat. He said, "Oops, no wing, no turn." So I believe he broke his front wing and then forgot they had no wing. Just couldn't turn the car and just headed straight to the barrier.
So the RB outfit not having the greatest start, although Anton is up there in P9. But as nearly everyone is in the pits, apart from the Audi of Teme, who invalidated again, so he's still yet to get a lap on the board, so he's really got to make his final run count. Behind Andy, it's all to play for, but it's going to take some beating that out being up at the front.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult, and by the looks of it, it looks like P1 is secured, but obviously never write off anything, because you never know what can happen. But that top 5, even top 10 is going to probably change around a lot on his final runs.
Yeah, just to condense how close it is, the Bard Tsunami in P15, 4 tenths away from Boots in P2. So that is how fine the margins are as the drivers start to head out for their final runs. And this is where they've got to make it count. Battery management has got to be at its best. kissing those apexes has got to be perfect, especially if they want to beat Andy. But if they want to get up into P2, just a small improvement might well do it. As maybe Ricky, you'll obviously want to get up there right with his teammate. If they could start 1-2 the TRSs, that would be quite the perfect position they put themselves in for the race. But the first of the final runs, I think, will go to the Red Bull of Kill, who actually doesn't have a lap on the board yet. So this is going to be his one and only run, and he's really got to make it count. Everybody starting to come out the pit lane now. A few still waiting for the last few seconds to come out. As Kill starts his lap, we'll keep an eye out on Ricky to see if he can put his Alpine up there on the front row with Andy. And have you got any hope for your UFRT boys? Currently sit 6th and 2nd. I think you'd take that start if it qualifying were to finish now.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. It's a massive improvement of where we were at Japan. At Japan, we were in the bottom half of the field, so even just being in the top half of the field was an improvement, and I'm happy to see it.
And TDR not exactly looking too promising. 7th and 15th they currently sit, but final runs and fine margins between them. So still all the time in the world to gain as Ricky makes his way through the middle sector. He's got a huge train. If you look in the first sector, there's a huge gaggle of cars which has all come out on track at the same place, so they're going to have to space themselves out before the final runs. As let's see how Ricky's middle sector fares, and he's attempting a bit up, so Ricky could be on for P2 here. To make it a TRS 1-2, that would be quite the start to their weekend. But you've just got to nail this final sector, which is where you gain most of your time. Meanwhile, Kill, with his only lap of the day, goes to P2. That is an astounding effort. To put in a lap when it mattered, to all of a sudden put in a 16.6.
Yeah, he's really pulled it out when it meant the most. That's probably his final flying lap he's going to get in the session. And to do it in the final 2 minutes of the section as well, to pump himself up to P2, that is a great job from him.
Ricky did also improve, but it wasn't enough to jump any of the people in front. Ryan Spencer is nearing the line, and he is improving by a 10th in the middle sector. So can he get his UFRT up there with his teammate in the top 3, sliding out of turn 13? And here he comes around the final corner. Can the UFRT join his teammates up there? Crosses the line, and he does improve to usurp his teammates. So UFRT on for a great start as it is. The final runs are starting to tumble, and we're going to get a huge heap of cars put themselves up the order soon.
Yeah, I did say the top 10 is going to be changing around quite a lot. We've already seen Kill pop himself up in P2, Ryan pop himself up to P3. So it looks like the track is ramping up quite a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how much time people will improve.
I just want to say Andy has invalidated, so Andy will not improve his time. It might not matter, but if somebody can usurp Andy's time, it'd be quite the accomplishment. Boots is making his way through the final sector, maybe with the chance of beating Kill to 2nd place. The 2 MGAs not far behind him on their laps. Babar Tsunami went to P8 in the TDI. His teammate Tedhead comes up to the line, and he is P9 just behind him. Can Boots or the MGAs do anything? Boots can't improve, so it's all down to the MGAs to try and nab a pole, but Burfin has invalidated.
So that was just on Jocelyn. See Jocelyn coming through sector 3. See the penultimate corner turning into the final corner. About 30% battery, and to the line it will burn it all. 78.7. He does an identical time to Boots as well, though, so that is mega close.
So disappointment for MGS. They are now split by the McLaren Torn Penguin. So TTN getting in the mix, and that is all your laps. Galaxy Ionizer in the Cadillac, the only one left to cross the line. And he will only go ahead of his teammate in P9 team, so Andy's time just could not be beaten. And by 2 tenths, he is on pole. And Kill, I think, really the standout in that quali with that single time, on the board, but all of a sudden popping it into P2, that is a mega effort on the Red Bull.
Yeah, honestly, a great qualifying session there. Some great times. Like even just down to, let's say, 16th, it is mega close, and any one of them could have gone into the top 8.
Yeah, agreed, and I'm sure you'll be delighted with a 3-4 for UFRT, the only team with 2 cars in the top 6. So they are really going to be in prime position to work together off the start if they do want to challenge the 2 ahead of them.
Yep, I mean, as much as it's nice to see the 2 drivers up there together, it will kind of put a hamper on strategies as well. They'll need to make sure different laps don't double stack and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the strategy on this game. Not sure whether tyre wear is higher or lower. I expect a 1-stop to be the favourites, but whether anyone does try a 2-stop, I wouldn't be too convinced by it because it is just going to be battery train central as all the drivers stick together and manage that overtake.
Alright, let me just give them a ready up time. Hang on.
So on to the race we go, and clear skies above Melbourne, which I'm sure will be a beautiful sight for the drivers. And I've given them about roughly 3 minutes for them to sort their setups and strategies. And unfortunately for TRS, Andy is a bit alone up front. Ricky, down in P8, wasn't able to improve enough on his final lap. But the 2 MGAs and the 2 UFRTs with 2 cars right in the mix. So maybe a bit of team play if they do want to win this race, but I'm sure if the race ended as qualifying did, they'd be very pleased with their results.
Right, that is sorted. So about 2 minutes time, we'll probably start seeing the countdown for drivers to ready up. But for now, it's just them finalising strategy tweaks, finalising setup tweaks, and getting the right fuel load. Which obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of drivers under fueling as well. See, there is a lot of lift and coast on these cars, so you tend to often gain back quite a bit of fuel, and also the risk of safety cars as well.
Yeah, I did a experiment race at Australia, and you can probably get away with underfueling by 2.5 laps. That is just how much you lift and coast here at Melbourne in the desire to gain back battery. So a little easier to control the cars maybe with underfueling, but obviously get a bit too greedy and you won't make it to the line. So you've got to find a fine balance for the drivers.
And yeah, just got to see how that goes. But obviously, race start will be critical for these drivers. You want to settle into a rhythm in the opening laps. Make sure you keep your front wing, and go from there. And just get to your pit laps and focus on pace, battery, and the cars around you.
So every driver still currently equipping mediums. Whether they are leaving it till the last second to try and throw off their rivals, we will find out. But I think a unanimous medium hard race today. Whether they all pit on the same lap or maybe some try and extend by a lap or two, we'll find out. But I'm just fascinated to see how much this battery train is really going to come to life.
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting. It will be interesting to say the least. But we shouldn't be too long now until we start going. We'll get to the lights out sequence.
Yeah, the clock has hit 29 and the drivers should have finalised their strategies and setups. So we should be ready to go racing around Melbourne in just a few moments' time. I know the second I cut away, the race will start, so I'm just holding this screen now. Nobody wants to be the first to ready up, clearly. And a repeating though, so I think we are about to get going. So here we are then for round 2 of the European Formula Esports Series here around the streets of Melbourne. We are racing in Australia. The Alpine squirms off the line and he's already coming under pressure from the Red Bull behind into turn 1. He takes the lead. The 2 Astons behind follow through and it is just them behind. I'm struggling to get a timing tower for some reason. Now it comes into fruition and Andy is in hot pursuit of the Red Bull but can't get the position. Ryan Spencer just behind, ahead of Boots, his teammate. The 2 MGAs jockeying into turn 4 and Boots just stays ahead of the MGA. There's a bit of a glitch on the timing tower as Alex, for some reason, says he's in the lead. As there's a spin of a Ferrari on the exit at turn 4, Blonde all the way down to the back as finally the Cadillac sorts itself out. Timing tower's on a mare there. But there's the 2 Astons file through in P3 and 4 the 2 MGAs just behind it. It is Kill, who didn't have a timing qualifying until the final 2 minutes, who leads here in Melbourne.
Yeah, I've got one of the HYD drivers got disconnected, so I'm trying to find him, but he's not online. So that's going to be a bit more difficult for me.
Yeah, well, as we try and sort the disconnection issues, it's single file as we head down in towards turn 10. Kill comfortably in the lead, followed by Andy, who will look to complete his quali pace into race pace, and if he's as fast as he is in quali, it shouldn't be a worry for him. But the Red Bull leads, the 2 EFES will be delighted to be in 3rd and 4th behind, and the 2 MGAs right behind them, and Ricky will hope to get up with his teammate in P7, who is up a position. If we have a look at the position changes, it is Glix with the highest positions, up 5, Galaxy Eyes are also up 6 behind, starting at P19. But Kill with the crucial move early on, and we'll see how he manages that battery to try and stay ahead. On lap 2 here, does Andy want to try and get that move early doors, or is he just content with staying behind for a while? If he sits behind for too long, that could leave him vulnerable to the 2 UFRTs behind. So to make our way around the flat out turn 8, I think there's a move from one of the MGAs there, and it is Jocelyn splits the 2 UFRTs and he gets ahead of the Aston Martin, uses a bit of battery doing so, but Boots loses a position and is down to P5. He might come under pressure from the other MGA as the TRS of Ricky tries to get in on the mix. Down the inside goes Steve, having a look at Boots in front, but just unable to get the position. Can Ricky now try and capitalise? Having looked to the inside, he just has to back off.
I managed to get Alex back in, but one thing I did notice at the start, which I would have said on the opening lap, but awful start for the AMS drivers. One of them got a drive-through of Chrisu, Zedson also got a drive-through, but Blonde for some reason has dropped all the way back, and I believe he may have gotten into an instant.
Possibly to do that spin at turn 4 for Ferrari as Andy eyes up the lead of the race. Having a look at Kill in front, he's got a heavy ERS advantage on the Red Bull in front, I must say, nearly a full tank for him. Meanwhile, Kill only on 30%. Ryan Spencer's also got a lot in the tank, and Boots struggling a bit. Meanwhile, full yellow flag, and I think that's a virtual safety car deployed. Not sure what for.
Yeah, that was a virtual
safety
safety
car.
I'm just trying to find out, because it's probably going to be for front wing damage, but who for is the question.
Yeah, I don't see anything outlying. The 3 at the back have still got their wings.
It's Galaxy Ionizer. They found the ball somewhere and they've only got a nose connect, so they're missing the entire front wing.
Oh yeah.
So that's probably the cause of this sector. I believe that was in sector 1. We saw some change of positions between Ionizer, Julian, and Scoresheet. So maybe they've all come together and Ionizer's got them off worse.
Yeah, so the Cadillac will surely have to peel into the pit lane immediately. I'm sure it's too early for anyone to consider boxing as the leaders all pass the pit lane. But Kill, this also gives him a chance to replenish his battery, so when we do get going again, everyone will have a full tank ready to deploy, as understandably the HYD goes into the pit lane straight away, but we are racing again. And on lap 4, there's already a change of position. Torn Penguin getting a nice restart, and he overtakes Ricky, but Ricky tries to fight back on the outside of turn 2, barging wheels on the exit there. And the IRC, or TRS I should say, does get back ahead. Torn Penguin, though, back down the inside at turn 4. And he takes a position for contact. Half spins on the exit of turn 3. And did that give Ricky some wing damage? I'm not sure. The Torn Penguin now defending from Bartinami and Anton behind. Carnage at the restart.
Yeah, and honestly, if we're getting all this action on just lap 4, I'm interested to see how the remainder of this race goes. But it's getting quite spicy between a few of those drivers. Isaac decided to fire in pit lane after picking up his damage on lap 3.
I'm interested to see if that contact with the McLaren gave Ricky damage. It seems to be faring okay just now, though he is at risk of losing the overtake to Steve Burfin in front as we make our way down towards turn 10. I think he might just be alright as Ted Head gets ahead of Lorenzo down for P12. But I'm surprised Kill has been able to maintain this lead so far. He's doing well to hold off those behind as Boots looks to fight back at Jocelyn as he come around the final corner.
Yeah, it was actually pushing him through those final 2 corners. Sets the fastest lap as well, so he is pushing, he's trying to get back ahead of the MGA driver of Jocelyn. However, with that battery, it will be quite difficult to do so.
Yeah, so drivers lifting and putting it into Nom from 3 and 4. It's a good chance for them to charge it back up. Nobody looking to make a move just yet, but Tom Penguin comes under pressure from the Bar Tsunami in P9. Gick's still up 5 positions. Temi, who started dead last, is up 8 positions, up to P14, so he's kept himself out of trouble so far. We make our way through the middle sector. Bar Tsunami with a much lower battery, and he round the outside of the McLaren he goes, and he's up to P8 in the TDR.
I reckon with Torn Penguin struggling with that battery, that we could be under threat from Anton as well. See, Anton's got a lot more battery, and Anton's going to look to the outside.
Always that was always going to happen as he brakes too late and he slams into the back of the Bar Tsunami, losing him all that time that he made up. And Anton gets up into P8, but I'm sure the stewards will have a look at that after the race as he now sets his sights on Ricky, but expects a penalty for the RB after the race because of that incident.
Yeah, just too hot on the brakes, trying to make a move on Torn Penguin and ends up wiping another driver out. It's unfortunate, but the race goes on and Barcelona will be looking to gain back what he originally gained back, and now he's just lost it.
So the top 6 have kind of broken away from all that battling behind, as has there been an incident. Yes, there is, as a Ferrari somehow spun out the last corner. Chrissy tumbles to the back, and Ferrari having a disaster of a weekend so far. AMS really struggling here in Melbourne. But all that battling behind has kind of allowed the top 6 to break away a little bit, and they're all in their own little train. But everyone's just content with staying where they are for now and charging up their battery, as we've already got 2 victims of track limit penalties.
Yeah, and picking up track limit penalties this early on is not ideal for your race. Obviously, if you're picking up this early on, then it's only going to get worse towards the end of this race. I just witnessed a very nice move from Mount in the V-Carb. Around the outside of a damaged wing Lorenzo, but they're still battling through sector 3 as they speak, and Lorenzo's off, and that looks intentional.
Sorry, I did not see that. I was watching Boots battle with Steve for P5 in the final sector. There is a virtual safety car deployed. I assume you know why, because you were watching it.
Yeah.
Full safety car, actually.
Yeah, it's full safety car. Mount Horseback in P13 was battling with Lorenzo through the final sector, and it looked like Lorenzo may have done a snap on entry, overcorrected it into the wall. It did kind of look intentional because he was full on the throttle as he went into the wall. So it's interesting to say the least.
It's interesting. I'm having a bit of a glitch with the timing tower once again, as for some reason the race wants to keep on putting Alex in the lead. Oh, and it says Anton's now in front as well. But Kill is your leader still, with the full safety car deployed. I imagine we may get some pit stoppers, because this is maybe a bit early for hards, but you can probably make it to the end.
I don't
so
think
we might have a busy pit lane.
I don't think we'll get them because the leaders have been caught by the safety car. So there's only really one driver which got in the pits, and that's just to repair their front wing and put on another set of mediums, and that's Chris down in P20.
So if we have a look at the tyres, Bard Tsunami managed to get into the pit lane just as it was deployed, and he's in for the hard tyres. So, and if people do pit now, Bard Tsunami would actually have the lead of the race. So the Bard Tsunami's caught the pack. So TDR may have played an absolute blinder here. Quick thinking from Bard Tsunami. And he has pitted. Does anyone come into the pits? And Kill thinks about it, and he does come in. And Andy will follow him, and a huge heap of drivers will follow him. UFRT Boots stays out, and a few more stay out. Ricky stays out. Tom Penguin is out. A few of the drivers let us stay out because of double stacking. And Kill is... Okay, never mind. That's just my screen glitching. So, plenty of drivers in the pits. Is my timing tower... Is my timing tower the only one glitching, or is yours glitching as well?
Your timing tower is glitched. For me, it's completely fine. It shows Boots in the lead, Bard Tsunami in 4th. Bard Tsunami did pick up a 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags, apparently. So that's interesting to find out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he picked up a 10 for ignoring yellow flags. I think he might have just jumped the gun with overtaking someone else entering the pit lane. Or it's just a genuine glitch, and that will probably end up being removed if he makes it to the end and doesn't pit.
Would it be worth me just restarting the game so I can pick my tower, or will it just sort itself out after like 2 minutes?
Normal lap 1 safety car stuff, it sometimes glitches, but it's not well, it will go back to the way it is.
Well, as my timing tower struggles to figure itself out, I don't see a few penalties that I think are instated, but Boots stayed out. Andy pitted, Ricky stayed out. The Bard Tsunami now runs in 4th, but I assume he has a penalty, according to you.
And yeah, obviously, with the Bard Tsunami being able to pit under that, as the safeguard came out, he's now got fresh tyres, so technically he is net lead of this race.
Yes, that is true. So despite his penalty, it will pop up eventually. Bard Tsunami will have the net lead of this race, while a few drivers behind, Kill, who's now on the hards, or is Kill on the mediums?
Right, okay. I'm being told we need to restart.
We're being told we need to restart.
Yeah, I'm being told by apparently all drivers saying it's bugged.
Right. So maybe, what does your timing tower say?
Boots leading, Ricky P2, Tom Penguin P3, Bard Tsunami P4 with 10 sec.
I mean, my screen is bugged. I don't know what the driver's perspective is.
Alright,
But if they're saying it's bugged, then...
I'm going to call a restart.
Okay. I'll just pause the stream then. Right, we'll be back shortly, folks. Sorry for the disconnection issue, but do join us shortly and we'll get restarted. How are we going to do this?
Hang on.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Oh shit, what the fuck's happening? Yeah, the entire lobby's bugged, so I've got to make a new lobby.
You reckon 35 or 50?
Johnny's gonna check that out. Can you end the stream and grab results from before the safety car, just in case?
Well, yeah, but I can't tell you that because my screen was bugged, so my order's like completely bugged.
Shit.
Well, I'm sure if just tell one of the drivers to, because actually there's only 5. Well, I can end it and get you quali results.
Actually, no, wait, no. The grid will be fine on the stream. So if you end it and grab the grid from before the safety car, it will be fine because as under green flag running, it's fine.
So do you want me to take it from before the safety car came out?
Before the safety car, because it was